Hi there. So this video I'm doing is, I'm just wiggling my computer about, is I thought I would do one on children and the issues that some parents will be having, are having, will maybe having, all those words. I'm doing videos at the moment on the subjects discussed with patients and people that seem to be repeating, if that makes sense. So I can say my information and knowledge and wisdom in a video and just post it out. And also because I'm working with people and we're all collectively having a trauma release, then we're all very much reflecting what everyone's having. And because of the work I do, or therapy work, you get to see these patterns of things that people that normally we may not express, so worries about being a really crap parent, basically, which I'm very well aware of, being a single mum plus with much mental health problems in the past and healing and things like that. So to start, let's just start, and it might explain itself out. I researched everything when I was going through my awakening. So I had a lot of issues with my son. He's very sensitive like me. I've never had him tested or labelled because I don't believe in those things. Plus I was having problems with the system anyway, so I don't trust them. So and we both had sort of PTSD. So as soon as I went to a doctor's or white space of a clinic or hospital, I just start, having a fit, so to speak. And my son is a bit similar. So I had to find different ways, researched. I've said this in a few videos, but I researched not just in sort of books, but like for example, I'd wake up and then I'd be studying like DNA frequency in humans and in animals, and I discovered that the male chromosome was about 100%, and it's about 10-20% in its strength. So it shows you that boys have a very weak immunity. I don't know if that's the right word, but they're basically the Y and the X is like this. So it's like it's nearly dying, and it wasn't, it was at the start like this. And I do know from parenting groups, homeschool groups, because now I homeschool my son before the lockdown, because he needed me, and I felt he learned when he was happier and felt safer. So I had to make changes in my life to accommodate this. And I discovered that there was a similarity of patterns and with boys, so these things of sort of anxiety, behavioural meltdowns and anxieties, ADHD, you might want to call it, or autism things. So the difference between boys and girls. And so I studied, and I also studied the X and Y chromosome to do with, I'm sort of going off track here, abuse issues and perpetrator, because that's my trauma. So that was the pattern I recognised. So I do believe that boys need a lot more support from the mother to build this self-esteem, and it comes from the gut. And then there's less fear and anger that kicks in. So fear actually comes in, anger, fear from the liver that kind of comes out in like a sort of meltdown with a child sometimes, comes from fear. So when we're in fear, we get violence, especially violent men are in fear. So there's either fear or there's an attachment. Okay, so watch my other video on attachment. So again, I researched how, where, why. So there is sometimes this, whether you're looking this way or that way. So if we have internal trauma, that is the vibration of the trauma, copycats a low frequency of an entity, this is why you can have the attachment. Okay, so it is ours and it's not ours sometimes, but you can clear the attachment, but then you still need to heal the trauma. So if you have a low frequency trauma and you keep getting this attachment, which has happened to me, hence why I go in and I heal this trauma of rape and abuse, because then it's left my body and then I can come high and then the vibration's here, so I feel safer. Okay, so children carry the DNA trauma of you and past and past and past. So everything your child is trying to tell you, if they're not listening to you, you are not listening to your higher self or your inner child. So your child will have chosen you to come into your world as an old soul to help you heal. So we have to, now we're being really called and pushed to listen to our children. They're not really ours, they're just souls, but to listen to them, to understand that this child, old soul, who's actually purer than we are, because we've been fractured so much, so we're less whole than they are coming to us with the messages. Okay, it might be harder and they might be breaking. They're coming with the spiritual knowledge. And we have the knowledge on earth. Okay, so we're meant to put this together, but remember, we've been corrupted on earth, so we've forgotten our soul. So our children have the messages we need. So for example, like I said, if the child isn't listening, it's because we're not listening. The more I did this deep soul work connected to my inner child, my higher self, the happier my son was. Because they pick up, we are all spiritual, whether we like it or not, which means we vibrate in emotional frequency. So it's like Holy Spirit, the word Holy Spirit, or spirit energy. There's spirit outside our body and there's spirit inside. So when our spirit is healed, our emotions are healed and they're not in trauma state still, which means they're unprocessed, they will mirror into the people around us. Or we will, when we get triggered, so to speak, it will resonate our trauma. All right, so there's a lot of this mirror. This is happening a lot everywhere. So we have to be careful what we're feeling and hearing, because obviously you can have an entity possession. Narcissism is possession of entity. I've seen them. I've been abused. So this is deep possession of the darkness entities, but this is going off a little bit. But to understand, so if your child is really acting up, he might have an entity, especially if they've been masked in school when they're carrying the low frequency of other families and other people. This isn't not on a judgment, because we've been taught incorrectly what the hell's going on. Okay, so there's that level. So let me just go back. I'm losing my train of thought again, which happened. Because it's, it's so deep on deeper levels. So you can have that, but also basically what your child is bringing you. So my child, what else did my child teach me? I mean, I have a boy, and so I do know that he needed a lot of mother love. And yeah, just to heal through whatever when you're connected to yourself, you will be able to heal your child. It's just flipped, if that makes sense. So they come through to help us. So I do a lot of work healing family ancestral information, and also to remember, so it goes the other way as well. So from your parenting, whatever caused you stress and trauma along the way. Now mine's very deep, so that's why I'm teaching this stuff, because I've gone in and done the healing of the roots, still doing it, it's never ending. But to understand that your parents, especially back in the day where there was less knowledge, we haven't been taught how to really love, self-love. So if we don't know how to self-love, which none of us do, because that's accepting all the emotional frequency that's in the 12 organs, and processing that blocked emotion that's gone on for centuries, that will come through from your parents. So if there's a lack of self-love within the soul, which there is and has been for many years, then we get that message that we're not loved enough, because it's a mirror. So then it goes on and on and on. So this is where we've come down from the earth, and we ourselves on the earth, and we come down, and now we've got to this point of 22 chromosome, male and female chromosome, and we got to the 10, and we can turn around, switch, and we can send this healing down the DNA line. It goes down to the earth, because really the earth is suffering. She's a single mum. She's been cut off from the consciousness with the pyramid triangle, and so the energy is being cut off. Source going off again. It gets quite deep, but all you just need to understand is to understand that your child is giving you the message. That the message is probably a frequency of your trauma. Yes, we have our own soul purpose, but whatever, then our child has Okay, I mean, there's emotional orders, but even like physical, so you've got intestinal things, you know, this is unexpressed emotions, letting go of your shit. You know, if your child's not going to the toilet properly, then it's because you're holding on to too many emotions that you haven't let go of. So your child is like a really big, like, energy suction thing for you and your partner and whoever else is in your home. You know, if there's other parents, grandparents, or nannies, or, you know, it's not just who is your DNA. Your DNA can be changed. It's emotional frequency. The female body is a portal for that body to come through. That's how we don't own our children. We're all free. Okay, but I chose to go into my family so I would then heal from the trauma and I would get this wisdom. And then I can show other people how to connect to their soul, their higher self, and get their purpose and understand why they have these family connections. So have your, not I was going to say use your children, don't understand that your children are giving you the messages of what you need to heal on your level of your inner child. They have headaches, they're picking up your toxic trauma. If they have anger issues, it's your anger, which stems from fear and trauma. Non-sleeping, if they can't sleep, it's either an attachment, something's in the house that's not good for you, or they are just picking up your inability to sleep, or they're picking up your trauma. Something's disturbing them, obviously, because they can't sleep. But it's or that, you know, you can have nightmares and night terrors and things like this. And also collectively, we're all going through this, and it's this shame and embarrassment of like, you know, I'm shouting at my child, or I've been there, you know, and that's why I'm doing these videos, because, and I know that other people are going through things, but we can't express it because we haven't been taught to, and it doesn't feel like okay to say that, you know, you're having a tricky time. I'm not saying I have it all the time, and I used to, you know, I've come through a lot now myself. Why am I able to talk openly about my life a lot more? But what I'm trying to say is we're all in it. We're all in it. And remember, we've been locked down, we've been masked. So all this time when we're meant to process the darkness, the yin, everything yin, the female, these words and terms, is all under the body, is the energy body, the emotional body. So we're meant to have the winter to lock down, to feel these emotions, to let them up, but we haven't been able to let them up, have we? We've been suffocated, let them in, and we don't know what the hell's going on. So it will be rife and very tension, headaches, your conditions will be on the rise, you know, snappiness and arguments, and not all the time, but just this tension, maybe inside your house, and you don't know how to express it. You know, the system, you go to the doctor, they won't really know how to work with this field of stuff, shall we say. But I'm just doing a video to let you know that this collectively is what's happening. This is awakening. This is the truth of what's happening. So it's okay to, I have a page called I'm not working a lot on it at the moment because I'm doing these, but breaking down is waking up. It's just having a breakdown is going, oh shit, I just can't cope anymore. You know, breaking down is waking up. So, but it's admitting this, isn't it? Because we've been taught to go, yeah, everything's fine. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. I'm not fine. What does fine mean? What's okay? You know? So going off on another tangent about disease and stuff. So I don't think that should exist really, but I'll do another video on that. So this is just about children. My passion is about children, obviously, because I had a very, very tricky childhood with my abuse. So if I can help and save, and I'm not saying there's abuse everywhere, obviously, but it will be in some areas worse. So, you know, keep your eyes open as well and don't judge to a certain extent. This is a tricky subject, obviously, but you know, some people need some support and help. Some people not, obviously, but so, you know, if you can sense something, that child will definitely need help. And there's some situations you can help and not with the adult. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very hard to get it out correctly. So I don't want to, you know, say the wrong thing or upset. But my purpose of this is to help if I can help one child go through anything that they need to experience on a really deep level of trauma, then yes. But on a you know, our regular kind of level of life, we are still all in this awakening and purging our ancestral trauma. So our kids are here to help us from the spirit world. So take that lesson in and ask them, you know, ask them. They're very knowledgeable, especially from the ages of when they start talking till about 4 or 5. They'll be very aware spiritually who they are, what's happened maybe in a past life and things like that. You can ask them what they're here for, what they're meant to heal for. My son talked to me a lot when he was younger, telling me that I was here to help the love force field on the earth heal, which is what I'm doing now, to help her protection. So, you know, they are here to help trauma. I think that's all. But any other questions? Yeah, I do family work together, you know. I also was not just having my own emotional problem as a child, but when I had my son, another wave of it came up then. So actually then when you have the childbirth, especially as a woman, whatever the age of the child has that difficulty is reflective of your own difficulty. So the age of 6 is when my abuse started for me. So at the age of 6, I had a big trouble with my son, and the family dynamic. I was separated from the father, but we had a reflective, repeated pattern issue coming through. So, and there's a lot of separation at the moment, which is not a bad thing actually, because I don't believe in marriage. That's all from religion, another subject. But it does mean that we need to work on ourselves for the sake of the child. You know, you can have a very, very happy separation, and the children are very, very happy. And what's the difference? It's all just expressing stuff out. Being happy in the home, safe in the home. It's all about how the energy is in the home, which is your heart. Your home is a reflection of the heart. To make sure it's nice and clean and tidy, safe, happy, joy, protected. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I'll do another video and some other things. Again, just put your comments and posts below. Anything that I can help with, I will. If there's something else I know someone else can help, or another video somewhere else, you know, we're all in this together. So lots of love. Hope that helped. Bye.